Well, so we have to get interactive. We do encourage you that we have Dewa Chop Money. And as you know, Dewa 539 Chop Money enables you to collect your Chop Money every morning at 10 a.m. by simply dialing the short code *446#. You have to select option 2 to play Dewa 539 Chop Money. You win 20 times your stake with Direct 1, 40 times your stake with Direct 2, 400 times your stake with Direct 3. And so all you have to do is to pick from the ranges of the numbers 1 to 39, and then you win big. So again, the short code is *446#. You can also check the site for Dewa Chop Money. That is www.dewa-nla.com for getting regular updates. And just in case you want to get inquiries as well, if you go to that site, you would also get the contact numbers for you to contact them just in case you have some inquiries to make. On the other end, also, we have our own cash out alongside what we're running with Dewa as well. And so cash out for our regular programming, especially New Day, because we are now having the time belt for New Day, is also having the short code well memorized, because at the end of the segment, we'll win some loads of cash every morning as well, before we even call it a segment, and then for New Day as well. And the short code there is *439#. And this one, we play the draw right on your set, whether you're watching us on television or elsewhere on some other mobile device. Today, we're only looking at one subject, and it's just the twists and the turns, more discoveries in this Cecilia Dapaah Gate scandal. Now, talking about that, it also means that we have to take you through. But today, apart from that, we are encouraging you to join as well. So we're going to make available, make sure you go to our stream. We're going to make available the Zoom link, and then you join us subsequently for the last 15 minutes of the show. Let us know what you think as our regular viewers on all that has been happening, and then what needs to be done, the actions thereof, not only by the president, but also the various institutions that are currently on this matter, your own expectations. Now I have Erica Makuchum right here, and good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning, Roland.
All right. And then also, I have Usman Ayariga. How are you?
You're well. We are managing.
You're managing, eh? Yeah. Don't worry. I'm told that many of you politicians have a lot of cash in your homes.
In this current dispensation where people are carrying such quantum of cash in their homes, and the youth of the country are living in abject poverty, in hunger, and every day all we see is unemployment. All we can do is try to manage. And I mean, dovetailing into that, you know, tomorrow is International Youth Day.
International Youth Day.
Yes, I think UN International Youth Day. So
before within the age group of a youth. Eh?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm the youth organizer, so I fall within what we call a youth. Or better, I identify myself as a youth. No, there's no senior youth. I mean, a youth.
So youth is what age?
Is a youth.
What age to what age?
Well, if you look at I think the UN Charter, it talks about the age between 18 to about 35.
35.
Yes. So
your youth organizer, how old is he?
Who, my current youth organizer?
Yeah.
I don't know his age. No. Yes, but I know he's my youth.
Because the way you are describing the age,
I didn't talk about the age. You spoke about the age.
Oh, okay.
I just said I'm a youth organizer, and tomorrow is International UN Youth Day. So I just wanted to say something a bit on that, and to entreat the youth of this country, even though we can all see the kind of corruption, the kind of stealing ongoing in this government, the disappointment coming from the youth, and the disappointment seeing the kind of stealing going on in this government. I also entreat the youth to continue to be calm. Let us not try to disrupt the current democracy or the current experiments of democracy that we are all witnessing. We have seen in other countries the kind of things that are happening, people trying to topple the government. So I just want to use this medium to encourage the youth to continue to be calm. Next year is just around the corner. We'll come out in our numbers and we'll kick this government out of power.
Lawyer Kwame Jantua, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. So I like it plain and simple.
I don't understand where my brother Ayaga is coming from.
We'll talk about that. Let me just
to become. What does that mean?
Okay. So we'll talk about that. Now, Shaibu Mohammed, your regular name is Asamau Shaibu. Good morning to you. I know that you lost your elder sister at Adiembra Sekendi, and condolences to you because you're a regular viewer for us. Let's look at those who have joined us this morning. Just give the regular shout outs. We'll make the Roland Jan, it's also your birthday, so a great friend of mine works in Parliament. Now, we've been joined by Awilo Media. Of course, Shaibu is here. Amma McGold, Lottie Jones and Johnson. Philip Abuchi, thank you for joining us. Francis Apam, Kweku Aaron Ras Kotoka, we're grateful that you've joined us this morning. Now, I'll start with you, but let me just go through some slides. And as you all know, as of now, it's now setting. Apart from what we have by way of our own sources, the official communication also from the special prosecutor, so far, these are the numbers. $1 million, 800,000 we're told is in one part, 200,000 another part, 300,000 pounds, and then also 350,000 Ghana cedis initially plus 50,000, those stolen. Now found in the residence officially by the OSP, 590,000 USD, 2.73 million Ghana cedis. And we also do know that we have bank accounts with Societe Generale and then Prudential Bank. All these, there were some audits of the crediting of those accounts and the balance of those accounts as well. Now, what does it mean? Do we have more? Our sources tell us that more money was discovered as well, but these are the official ones. And then, you remember, when we said this, everybody said, oh, TV3, etc. But I just want to put this straight. Journalists have sources. One of the means by which we're able to get more information is for you to tell the whistleblower that you're going to protect the name in confidence. So you promise confidentiality, anonymity, and then the continuous pledge to ensure that their cover is not blown. It is the only way by which you are seen to be credible and for which you continuously get information. I do understand why government communicators tend to go onto Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., and sit behind keyboards and constantly tend to insinuate and insult. But we also have a job to do. And if you look at one of the roles is for a journalist to undertake, is to play a gatekeeping role. I understand all the difficulties you have. I know that it's painful, but sometimes when you are enjoying the largesse, you should also know that there will be scrutiny. Now, Mr. Makuchu, what do you make of this so far? Now,
it's actually quite interesting.
Your laughter even seemed to me that now you are overwhelmed.
I'm not overwhelmed at all. I mean, to start with, good morning to yourself. Good morning to Osman. He's my very good friend.
Osman is your friend?
Yes. I mean, I've known Osman for a very long time. He's very respectful. I wish him well in his foray into mainstream politics. And of course, I mean, there's something called youthful exuberance, and sometimes if you're not careful,
it can overtake
you. So I'm asking him to at least calm down a little bit. You know, we've done this for quite a while. I mean, for some strange reason, as young as I am, I can confidently say that I've been doing this thing for more than 10 years. So I have a bit of experience. So, Osman, calm down, chill. You know, you'll get there. But I'm actually very impressed. I mean, that he's taken the, like I indicated, the foray into mainstream politicking. He says something about the youth, which is extremely important, that in any country, for you to be able to get the development that you want your young people to be interested in politics. And you know my orientation all the time. I've never really ever tried to even convince any of my friends to appreciate my opinion or join the ideological orientation that I'm part of. You understand? I believe in people having their own personal views, and then once we have like a discourse and it's respectful, and people appreciate each other's rights to prefer different opinions, and I'm very happy about that. Now, my senior, Kwame Janto, of course, I mean, good morning to him and all the people watching TV3 this morning. Your intro itself is actually problematic to start with. I mean,
you don't like my intro?
No, it's very, you see, I think that if you invite people onto a platform, and like you're saying, you're giving a level playing field, or even like an objective account of events, then you have to, I mean, stick by those standards. Otherwise, then you draw those persons or panelists that you've invited to go into areas where it actually sullies the reputation of the platform. To start with, it is not true that TV3 as a platform indicated that, oh, monies were found and that there was so much money that was found, and that's the reason why some MPP communicators or operators were going after you. There was a news item that indicated that.
The thing
let
I
me
read
finish.
Was not for you to comment.
No, but I need to start from there. No, because you're interrupting me.
It's not an invitation for you to comment.
No, but I will comment.
I
will comment.
Okay.
And the reason why I'll comment is that if you present a news item that says that, oh, the OSP went into the house and they spent 5 hours counting money and X amount, you actually indicated specific amount of money that were found there. And the OSP has come to state categorically what those official amounts were, and you still insist on going on that tangent, claiming that you have sources. I mean,
let me correct you. We never stated any specific amount. We did state how long the OSP and his team spent in the house undertaking. No, please.
You don't want me to finish.
I want to correct you, please.
Okay.
Because this was just a comment to our viewers and the audience. Mm-hmm. You decided to comment on this. Mm-hmm. So let me correct you. We had it on concrete information from our source of the team of the OSP that went to the house. They spent 4 to 5 hours.
It's okay. That's what I can.
So subsequently, they counted money. Subsequently, further information from other media colleagues, etc., then put sums to the monies. But for our credibility and the ethics that we go by, we stand by what we said, and we never alluded to any money for the first start. Subsequently.
Well enough. Can I continue?
Okay.
All right. And so, of course, I mean, the last couple of weeks, this is when this story broke. They ran up to all of these things, even yesterday, coming from the OSP in terms of where they are. It's very clear that, one, the woman involved at the time when the issue broke decided to take the issue to the police. The police did their investigation. Certain persons were picked up and being prosecuted. Once it came to the public domain and all the conversation around it, the woman herself came out and said that based on all the issues that happened, her position as a Minister of State was untenable. She resigned. The presidency accepted the resignation. A new minister is in place doing whatever it is that they are supposed to do. And what's actually very interesting is that we have an Office of Special Prosecutor that was actually put together by an MPP administration that has taken this case and is investigating the case and has even gone further to freeze the account of this particular woman. And nobody is talking about that particular conversation.
Why should we talk about it?
No, the reason why, he's doing his work. And so I'm asking myself, if you invite us to talk about the Cecilia Adapa saga today, what exactly is it that you're asking us to discuss? You know what I'm saying? Because as we speak, the issue is being investigated by the Office of Special Prosecutor. They've taken the case to court, asking the court to actually grant that particular application. The police is doing this investigation as to the criminal aspect that has been taken to court and as we speak, right? And so when you invite us to discuss the saga, I mean, maybe you should tell us exactly what it is that you are asking us to discuss. In any case, I think that it's very clear that people have made certain pronouncement about the propriety of keeping such amounts of money in a home and why you don't use the banking system and all of those are, I mean, legitimate conversations that we can have.
They are
At the
legitimate.
moment, of course, I mean, people...
But the way you talk, you make it sound like it's trivial.
No. But, I mean, but if it was trivial, I wouldn't even mention it. So, I mean, I live in this country. I talk to people. I have friends. I go to certain places. So people would even come to you and say, oh, on this particular issue, this is what we feel and all of that. I'm Ghanaian. I listen to my ears on the ground. So I appreciate some of these things. But the reality is that if a media house decides that they want to discuss it, then you have to be a bit more specific as to what aspects of it that you want to discuss, right? To cast aspersions or make insinuations and create...
Who is
No, I'm
casting
just
aspersions?
saying it. I'm
Okay.
just... You understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't understand, because nobody has
doesn't actually
Nobody has
contribute...
cast aspersions and insinuations.
contribute to this particular matter. You know what I'm saying? So if you ask me specific questions, and as far as I'm concerned, I think that it's very important that even the lady herself involved, I mean, through her lawyers, would be able to be a bit more open to discuss some of these issues as it goes through the entire process, right? Yes, but because you find a member of the political party or someone who was a member of the government and everything involved in the matter, sometimes you feel that it's probably even expedient for persons like myself to comment on the matter. But in a final analysis, the case has gone through a certain progression, right? And I'm happy that even in the midst of all of these things, the Office of Special Prosecutor is shown its independence. And this points to the whole conviction of the president to start with, that in matters like these, as part of our manifesto in 2016 that you set up an office like that to investigate some of these things. I believe strongly that, yes, you probably have to empower some of the other agencies that are responsible for some of these things, especially maybe focusing a lot more on people when it comes to these asset declaration and being a bit more proactive to either review and update it as and when things change. But I have absolutely no more to talk about on this particular matter.
Osman, if you look at the trajectory of this matter, it looks like now government is overwhelmed, is it not? Because the reality is that if you're a public official and a politically exposed person, you're supposed to live by certain ethics and principles. And as it is, clearly not living by those morals and standards, ideally that should have been set. Is that not the case?
Roland, I am surprised my brother is running away from the issues or what we have to actually discuss. I mean, this is a politically exposed person. This has to do with someone who has been given an office of the Minister for Sanitation. This is someone who actually has public funds at her disposal. And this is someone who has some amount, not just some, so much cash on her. And I'll even go into the details of the bank accounts. I realize you didn't want to mention the amount in the bank account, but some media houses have done justice to it. And you come here and you want to let it seem as though because the special prosecutor is investigating it and because, I mean, some state agencies are investigating it, so for that matter, there's really nothing to talk about. If she were a private person who was being investigated, I wouldn't waste time to even talk about it. But to the extent that she's a public official, her government has been voted into power and she has been appointed a minister of state. She owes it a responsibility to us to conduct herself in such a way that will not lead to any form of corruption. And if you check what she's being investigated for, it has to do with corruption and corruption-related matters, and which, of course, they're looking at the quantum of money which could be proceeds or which could be tainted as corruption-related affairs. So let us not sit down and try to trivialize it as though it is not worth our time, or for that matter, Ghanaians.
What are the implications if that is done?
I mean, we are citizens of the land, and the president has asked us to be citizens. And for that matter, we should be interested in any act of any public official. Now to the substantive issue. This government, and this is not the first, this is not the second, And I remember growing up, a book I used to read, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. I don't know whether you read that book. And this government honestly reminds me of that book, Ali
Baba and the 40 Thieves.
Yes, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, where there was Ali Baba and the gang of thieves. You know, this is a classical example of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. Just that in this case, we have more than 40 ministers and 40 appointees. So maybe 1,000 thieves, if that will be permissible to use. Now, this is a clear example of a very bad case for the government. And as I said, this is not the first. You remember the recent one of the PPA boss, where so much money was found in his bank account, and for that matter, he was sent to the special prosecutor. Quite apart from that, you also remember the recent reportage of a presidential staffer who also lost about $117,000. And you do the mathematics, and the numbers are mind-boggling. The numbers are just unimaginable. The numbers are so unbelievable. With this Cecilia Dapaah case, I remember frankly when your news outlet broke out the issue of the quantum of the amount of cash found in her home. And of course, they sent their social media army after your TV network, saying no amount of cash was found because the special prosecutor had issued a statement saying that they had not released any figures. And if you continue to read the special prosecutor's releases, it just tells you that we as an entity, we have not released any information to the public, but they haven't come out to say that the figures being put out there are actually true or false. In all of the special prosecutors' releases, all they tell you is that we have heard this or we have seen this on social media. However, we are not
as part of the
source.
rebuttals.
Yes, we are not the source of all of that information.
They never even tell you that the information is wrong.
It's wrong. Yes, they never tell you the information. They only tell that it is not coming from us. You understand? Now, the special prosecutor, from the documents from the court, you realize that $560,000 was found in the house. 2.7 million Ghana cedis was found in that.
590,000.
Yes, $590,000. 2.7 million Ghana cedis. Then you would realize that the special prosecutor is seeking to freeze some accounts. That is at the Prudential Bank and the Societe Generale. If you also read further, some news outlets have also released the figures in those bank accounts and realize that there's $5 million in one of the bank accounts. There's 48 million Ghana cedis in another account. Do the mathematics, and we are looking at almost 114 million Ghana cedis. One person. When this whole story broke out, I mean, some agents came out to tell us that 800,000 belonged to her late brother, and some 300,000 belonged to some family contribution for a funeral, etc., etc. And I asked myself, what kind of an insult is this to the sensibilities of Ghanaians?
Well, that's the source of the money, they say.
Okay, now, what is the source of the $590,000? What is the source of the 2.7 million Ghana cedis? What is the source of the $5 million? What is the source of the 48 million Ghana cedis? What is the source of all of those monies? And I tell that this is clear stealing. Because when I do the mathematics of Cecilia Dapaah's salary, her emoluments, her ex-gratia, ever since she started working as a public official, the mathematics cannot add up. Unless she's trying to tell us that all of this money is from family contributions and funeral contributions, and it either belongs to her uncle, her late uncle, or her late grandfather, or her late brother, or her late sister, etc., etc. And these stories cannot wash. And that is why it is a matter of public interest. And not only is it a matter of public interest, but it's a matter of national security. Because you see, we are in a country where over 850,000 have been pushed to the poverty line. And you have one person keep this amount of money in her bank account and in her home. This is a security issue. You have so many youth living in poverty. We have unemployed youth in this country. And for them to start hearing in the news that this is the amount of money is being kept in one government official's home, a woman, and Minister for Sanitation, then they will start wondering what...
Well, somebody will say that's why it's being investigated, to know the source. Because you cannot make conclusions that because money is in somebody's account or home, the monies have been stolen. But because you're a politically exposed person, that is why the veracity or the source of the money would have to be investigated.
But there's a presumption and it's acceptable.
But you
So
can't-
you
you
can,
can't-
of course.
you-
I mean,
you-
yeah,
you
yeah,
talk
you are,
about
yeah,
democracy,
I'm coming.
you
Yeah,
can't
I'm coming.
presume
You are a
in-
government.
in
You are a
that-
government
come on.
official.
I mean,
You are,
but
you are,
you
you
can't-
are
but
a
all of these
government.
things that-
You are a government official, and you're not a businessman. And per government official, you're supposed to have declared your assets even going into office. So per your asset declaration, did you have this kind of money before going into office?
Investigation
No.
will bring it
Do
out.
you have that kind of money now? Yes. How did you make that kind of money? The only presumption is that you have stolen that amount of money. You cannot tell me that you got it through gates. Through what gates? And that is why she's being invested for corruption and corruption-related matters. And that is stealing. So you cannot come and say, are you trying to defend the kind of money found in her bank accounts and in her homes? Eric, you are a fine gentleman, but this cannot
I
be
haven't
defended.
defended
No,
anybody.
I'm
just
coming.
saying that-
Yeah,
Please
fine.
wrap
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
Please
yeah,
wrap
I'm
up.
coming.
Statements
Yeah,
about
yeah,
Please
you-
try and wrap
I'm
up.
coming.
No, it's okay.
No, I'm coming. Yeah,
Which you
you
can.
are a fine gentleman. That cannot be taken away from you. But I find it very
Please
sad.
address the matter. Stop addressing
No,
it.
no. But I mean, when he started, he addressed me. So I'm just trying to deal with. He spoke at the fact that we are friends. I'm telling you that he's a fine gentleman. It saddens my heart that people's recklessness, people's mismanagement, people's corrupt activities will bring us here, and they will send a fine gentleman like you to come and defend such thievery. I find it very unfortunate. So these issues that have been brought to the fore, I also want to congratulate the Office of the Special Prosecutor for the good work he's doing so far. But the most important thing is that this has become a national security issue, considering the kind of unemployment we're experiencing in this country, the kind of youth in this country that are hungry and do not have jobs, the youth in this country who do not have any source of livelihood. And the fact that they wake up every morning and they hear government official A has this amount of money in their account, government official B has this amount of money stolen from their home, government official C has that amount of money stolen from their home. It is not acceptable. Let me just give me 1 minute, let me land. And in all of this, you have the head himself supervising all of these corrupt activities. I mean, this is a government that is unacceptable, a democratically elected government that we have never seen this kind of corruption, not even a military junta in the history of Africa. I mean, we have seen the administration of people like Sani Abacha, Mobutu Sese Seko, we have seen Idi Amin. Not have we seen this kind of stealing in any of those governments. So please, let us take this matter seriously.
Do you know how much was dislodged from the Swiss account of Sani Abacha?
Let
Mr. Jantua,
let Nana
I
be done with his
please,
president. They will
yeah.
know how much will also be dislodged from their various accounts in
Point
various
made.
countries.
The key indicators are that if you take a look at how the matters seem to have traveled up to now, perhaps we needed a more ruthless action from the president than just saying the OSP should investigate. Because there's been a position now taken in that criminal matter of the prosecution of the thieves, so to speak, the suspected ones, by the Attorney General, for example, who is the Chief Prosecutor of government.
Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my fellow panelists. Roland, you said we needed, what, more drastic action from the president?
Ideally.
What
Shouldn't we?
What kind of action are you talking about? What do you expect him to do? The lady has resigned, hasn't she?
She has.
Perhaps the letter that the president wrote, you would question.
Is it not questionable?
It was more like writing a letter to a friend than official. But what can he really do as president? He can't go out there and prosecute it. There's not much he can do. What we should look at is that this doesn't turn into something that doesn't go nowhere. For me, that's the most important thing. It doesn't go nowhere. But remember, there are two separate cases here. There's the case of thievery, and there's the case of where the money is coming from. What we're doing here, and what I hear my younger brother talk about, court of public prosecution. as far as I'm concerned. Because Ghana's jurisprudence tells you that you are innocent until proven guilty. So perhaps the special prosecutor should tell us whether with the interviews with Dapaah, he's been able to prove corruption. He should tell us. He said he is what? Seizing her bank accounts and all that because of suspected corruption. If he's had interviews with her, he should tell us. What are the sources of those interviews? What did you glean from interviewing her with regards to the source of the monies? It is mind-boggling to see that even in today's time, she still has money elsewhere. 500 and what? 90,000 US dollars in a house. Goes to show disrespect, so far as I'm concerned, on her behalf. Now, this asset declaration, that is one thing the president can do something about. That is one thing the president can take measures and do something about. And I expect him to do something about it. And I expect him to send some kind of policy to Parliament and let them pass a law that asset declaration should be exposed to the people of this country if we are here to serve. Yesterday, and I'm not sure whether you listened to CNN yesterday, was it? Yeah. One of the, I think, was it a senator, indicated that she had shares in Shell. I'm not sure, was it States or the UK? Shares in Shell. And apologized, I think it was America, apologized for not revealing that she had shares in Shell because she was holding a public office. And what? We're here talking about Cecilia Dapaah having money in her house. Are you trying to tell me that both MPP and NDC, they don't have money in their house? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That it's only Cecilia Dapaah who has money in her house? Politicians keep money in their houses. Period. And if you were a fly on the wall in politicians' houses, you see the amounts of money in politicians' houses today. Will they take it to the bank? We don't know how much money was in the bank account. I'm not sure whether they told us, Roland. Did they tell us? This is Societe Generale and Prudential.
So the monies that...
Did they tell us how much it was?
No.
Did they tell us how much it was? No. If it was, and probably the banking...
Not formally,
okay,
of course.
Probably, do you know what it was? I'm from, do you know?
Informally.
Informally, do you know?
No, informally, we have our sources as well.
The monies were in there. About how much?
No, it's okay. Let's move on.
Okay, because it's because of, I want to make a point, that's why I want to know. I don't know what the banking law says, but I should have investigated it, I should have found out, but I didn't have the time to do that. Aren't the banks required to report to the central bank any amounts of money over a certain limit in an individual's account? As I said, I don't know how much the money is.
The current regulations,
yes,
we have
that regulation is there. So, and I don't know what the
money
limit.
Laundering.
Yes, I don't know what the limit is. But even in the UK, if you put £10,000 in your account, £10,000 is the quantum of money you can bring in. If you put it in your account, they will send you a questionnaire to find out where you got the money from. And so, if monies were lodged in both Societe Generale and Prudential, depending the quantum of the money, didn't the bank have responsibility to inform the Bank of Ghana that a politically exposed person has X amount of money in their account? Isn't that the regulation? I don't know how much it was, but I doubt, when you look at the amounts of money that are being found, I doubt it will be less than 100,000 US dollars. I doubt. And so, there is responsibility along the chain, right through. The responsibility on the bank, the responsibility on Honorable Dapaah, if I can use that word, the responsibility on the MPP party to make sure that it is well investigated, because it's a bad slur on the party. No two ways about it. It's a bad slur on the party. I don't go the line of my brother Ayariga when he tries to bring in and the youth are poor and da. I don't see where that stands in this scheme of affairs. That has generally got to do with what is government doing to make sure that the youth are employed. The youth can have the right things to be able to make ends meet. That is where that is situated. With regards to now bringing that in, I feel, for me, yes,
neither here
it's
nor
neither
there.
here nor there. But we need to be able to find out, really and truly, and quickly. And Roland, I don't understand why, how many bodies are investigating this matter? 3? 4? I don't understand why they can't come together, collapse this as one, and have one investigation. Attorney General is doing his own. Special prosecutor is doing his own.
On the criminal matter.
Yeah, on the criminal matter. But can't they sit together? Can't they sit together? All the bodies that are investigating, can't they sit together as one and say, okay, the criminal matter, this and this and this is what we found out. The corruption matter, this and this is what we found out. This matter, this and this, and come out with one statement? Would that not help? Because what then happens? One brings something else, then you find that the other hasn't got it. You find that it goes against one's investigation. I don't think that works. In terms of criminal investigation, who does it? Is it the Attorney General or is it the police? Who does it?
The police. The OSP also is supposed to work with the various institutions.
But I think they should all sit together, work together.
They should one comprehensive
thing, so that at least we know where it's coming from. We know the sources of the information that they've got, and then we take it from there. At the present moment, Cecilia Dapaah is innocent until proven guilty.
Until
proven guilty, especially with the amounts of money we are talking about. And remember, there is a case in court where she has taken it to court for stealing of money that she says is her property. Now, when you read the charge sheet, there are certain amounts of money they've been able to say, she's been able to tell who it's from. And there are certain amounts of money that we cannot find out who those monies are from. That is
There's
where...
the late brother,
Yes. Those ones she's
What
been
have you
able
heard
to...
so far?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. I don't know where. I've only heard what is in the general public's domain.
Okay. Mr. Makuchum, there seems to be, if you look at the certain line of communication, is that she is innocent until proven guilty. But why do you think there seems to be a certain abhorrence to people's conditions of living on one side, being just opposed to public official, and a public official like her, an astute one, an experienced one like her, having that stash of money, not only at home, but in her account? Why do you think there seems to be that abhorrence?
Do we know the stash of money in an account? Do we know?
So, I mean...
Roland, do we know?
Roland.
Tell us if you know, because that bit I don't know. I would like to know.
Roland, people have a right to be preferring views on any single matter that happens in this country, because that's a fundamental tenet of our democracy.
Free speech.
Free speech, views, asking questions, critiquing public officials and government. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But in the same democracy that we are trying to, my friend here used experiment, there's also another fundamental tenet, and that's what my big brother spoke about, that the fact that allegations are made does not necessarily connote guilt until it goes through a certain process. And that guilt can only be pronounced by a court of competent jurisdiction. We can't pick and choose aspects of a democracy, and that's my challenge, even with the NDC. For example, they have their members of parliament boycotting parliament and going to the courts to, so to speak, support their members that are being taken through prosecution, claiming that they are being what? They are being persecuted. They're not being even prosecuted. They're being persecuted for political reasons. And some of these issues that are in court are corruption-related cases. So if Ayariga is sitting here now claiming that, well, before you even go through these processes, it means that all those persons that are NDC and are in court for corruption-related issues are actually guilty. Then we shouldn't do this thing. There's no point in having this conversation. So what is the objectivity? What is the principle?
The principle of what?
What is the principle of saying that, yes, I can decide to go and support a member of the NDC who is in court, right, for alleged corruption cases like my friend Arthur Fortin with this, what do you call it, ambulance issue and all these Opuni and all of those issues. You will see people who are mandated constitutionally to represent their people boycotting parliament to go and, what, commiserate with them. Do you understand my point? So it is important that we we get to this.
We are joining them in solidarity.
Yes, but principle is extremely important.
What principle are you citing here?
No, so you sit here and say that I have never defended the other part, and I will not. I'm not. What is the point in defending anything? I'm not defending anything. It's about the principle. The issues that are open for all of us to appreciate are out there. The mere fact that a member of the political party is embroiled in some kind of what do you call it, saga or whatever, does not necessarily mean that you should go and attack her because you allow the processes to play. In any case, the Office of Special Prosecutor is an independent body that was set up. It was actually a manifesto promise of this particular.
The accusation is that so far they've been like clearing agents. So they seem in the eyes of public opinion and the Ghanaian public not to be getting the type of support that they want. And that's why we're having